Well, that wasn't very hard. So solve the Rubik's Cube. I guess it's supposed to be difficult, but it was invented by a Hungarian, so it can't be that hard. You know, all joking aside, my wife's Hungarian, so that was just a little one for Susie. Anyway, so we're back to the wonderful world of marketing, and today we're talking about the modern CMO. Now, what's interesting as a modern CMO is the skill set that's required to work in this world is a little different. And you know, my observation is that you're really a three-headed hydra. If you're familiar with the legend of the Hydra, don't worry, we're not going to go into too much Greek mythology today. That was the last episode. But the Hydra is a three-headed serpent that you cut the head off, another one grows back. And the thing about being a CMO, and the reason you need three heads, is you still need to be really creative, and that's been traditionally the domain of marketers. You still, in fact, in some ways, you need to be more creative. You need to be able to come up with things that cause conversations. You need to be able to come up with stimuli that get people to react. You can't just create a deal sheet. You've got to actually say stuff that make people want to know more. The second thing, though, is you also need to be very analytical, because now you're looking at your marketing journey from end to end. And I have a marketing dashboard, which I'll show you in another episode, but I have a modern marketing dashboard that allows me to see my unknown visitors, my known prospects, how many of them turn into MAQLs or marketing automation qualified leads, how many of those are accepted by sales, how many are qualified by sales, how we've nurtured them within the sales pipeline, and then how much of that turns into revenue. So I can really think of myself as a revenue marketer end to end, and my days are often spent in that dashboard looking at what's going wrong and where am I doing well and where are my KPIs not working anymore. So the analytical mind becomes really important, and that sometimes is at odds with that creative mind, but you need to kind of have both of those. The third head, though, is the one that I think is most interesting, which is you also need to have a product orientation. Because in order to make the journeys work, in order to make that end-to-end conversation work correctly, you've got to land people through an experience that has to be connected and has to go to a place where people can take action that makes sense. And it does require a stronger product and sort of product management orientation than we've ever had to worry about before, where it used to be just a very direct single pass to one spot and hopefully they buy. It's a lot more complicated today, and I think that's part of what makes it cool, but it also does mean that sometimes you need to train yourself in different ways. So my advice to marketers from a learning standpoint is you need to do three things. One is continue to dive deep on creative. Watch stuff, read stuff, consume stuff, pull in award show reels and watch those. Become a student of the art. That's always been important. From an analytical side, become best friends with data scientists. Make sure you've got data scientists on your team. Spend lots of time with them and listen to them carefully, and go to data science courses. Really get deep on that to understand how you can drive your business. Because the great thing about it is when you do have those dashboards and you do have those metrics, you actually have the control to deliver the kinds of results that your company needs from you. And that really is great for your career, because now you feel like I can make a promise and I can keep the promise. I've got a great story about that I'll come back to in a second. And then the last thing, which I don't think is something people do very often, is discover the broken flows within the experiences that you're visiting upon your customers. You've really got to get in there, inspect very deeply with your teams. And you must inspect the journeys, because it is, for me, one of the biggest head shifts in marketing teams to not think about just the journey in their silo of responsibility, but end to end. I had a really interesting story with a customer about 2 weeks ago. This will go to the second bucket story that I wanted to tell you, which was analytics. I was showing them my modern marketing dashboard and the level of control that I have and some of the executional tools I'm using that give me a lot of precision. And they said, the thing that's frustrating about marketing in our company is that as a company we have a lot of cash, and we also have quarterly goals, and we're near the end of our year. We're about $2 million short on our objective. If the marketing department said, give me $10 million and I will generate $12 million for you, we would give that to them every single day. And we would make our goal. But because the marketing department isn't instrumented in a way to be able to say that or even know that, what's going to happen is we're going to cut $2 million from marketing in order to make our profit number for the quarter. And that, to me, in a nutshell, is the biggest opportunity for marketers and CMOs, which is to go from being a cost center that gets cut to meet quarterly goals to being a revenue center that gets invested in to make quarterly goals. If you can make that transition in your organization, you know you've become a modern CMO. You're going to need a lot of tools to do that. We're going to talk about that a bit more in the next segment. I'm going to demonstrate a couple of things that we're using right now. But for now, that's all we've got for the wonderful world of marketing. I'll see you next time.